So good morning, good morning. Happy Monday, June
Monday.
13th. Yeah. Wow, these
Happy.
weeks just go by faster and faster and faster.
I know. I can't even believe it. Like, we're halfway through June already.
Yeah, 2 more weeks in the second quarter.
It's absolutely insane.
Yep. Yeah, time stands still for no one, but I think for entrepreneurs that's especially true because we wear so many hats and we try to accomplish so many things
Hmm.
with limited resources that the time just seems to go by even faster.
And we're constantly working,
Yeah. Yep. And
constantly
if we're not
working.
working on our businesses, we're working on the things that had to slide because we were working on our businesses.
Yeah. Yeah. So, this weekend, well, we'll talk about Entrepreneur Speaks, but I was going to say first is Maxine Reyes is just she calls herself a networker, but I told her this weekend it goes beyond that.
Hmm.
She is like the ultimate supporter,
Yep.
you know. So Sunday was National Female Veterans Month or Day, National Female Veterans Day.
Yeah. Hard to have a month on a day.
Yeah, and she reached out to to women veterans to get together for brunch, and it ended up being a small quaint group. There was only four of us, but just wow, the impact that those ladies are having on
Mhm.
their communities and their families and their lives. It's just it was really nice.
Those ladies, including you and Maxine.
Yeah, well, yeah, well,
I mean, you
I
were a
did.
part of that group, and
Yeah,
you
I
said
am part.
I recall somebody recently saying that Rosie is way too humble, but that you have that same trait, my friend.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, it was really nice. And then to hear, just like an entrepreneur speaks, as well as I know you, like you shared something about your life that not even I knew. And same with Maxine. Maxine and I've talked so much, and she shared some things that she's got going on. And I was like, I had no idea. So it was pretty cool. Um, and just serendipitous, one of the girls, fascinating story. I won't go too far into it until we can help her. But anyway, her from Ocala. Um, Family has one of the oldest restaurants in the little downtown area, and she and her sisters want to buy it. It's her aunts, and has just vision on how to take it to the next level. And she was just like, I have not been able to take my ideas and put them into a plan so I can present it to my aunt and uncle, to get buy-in that they would be
Right.
willing to let it go. And I was like, well, guess what? Action's not going to help you do that. So she is just so thrilled. And she's still oh no, she's active duty. She's active reserve. She's a reserve on orders. I mean, I'm sorry, not reserve, National Guard on orders. So this is really cool.
Yeah,
Mm.
well, you piqued my interest
Oh
with the
yeah. And then
restaurant.
the other lady, she's like, um, I do all these things, and people are like, you should, have people, sell your talents. And she's like, I don't want to be that committed, you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but she acknowledges that people are willing to pay her for her services. And I was like, well, I can also help you with that. I said, she had a couple of ventures, and one specific was hair braiding. And
Oh.
I was like, I can help you um, do hair braiding whenever you want to braid.
Hmm.
Like, let's get you through Action Zone, get your business model together, and then
Yep.
you can just braid whenever you want, and you know how to how to charge, and things like that. So anyway,
Very cool.
yeah, really neat.
Very cool. Yeah, sometimes the smaller, more intimate gatherings can be the more valuable ones
Hmm.
because you have time to really speak with and hear and understand what the other people are doing and what they're saying.
Yeah.
The big
Yeah,
crowds are great, but the intimate ones are tend to be more valuable sometimes.
yeah, yeah. So women veterans out there, Courage and Grace Foundation is Maxine's organization to help veterans and young women. And the next brunch is going to be, I believe, June 9th. No, or I'm sorry,
No.
July 9th.
I was gonna say, I am confused. I know
July
it's
9th.
Monday, but
Yeah. And so that'll be lots of fun. And
awesome.
then July 16th, let's talk about Entrepreneur Speaks.
Okay. Oh, is
That
that
was,
the next one?
yeah, that's the next one. That was that was really fun on Saturday. So for those that have not heard of Entrepreneur Speaks yet, our friend Daryl Hitch, he has created a platform for entrepreneurs to be able to share their journey.
Which is just an extension of his Tampa Pioneer magazine, which is
Right.
solely focused on Tampa Bay and the region entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So it was Rosie was the inaugural speaker, the number one, first in line, where we had four, and always, of course, Rosie did an amazing job. Um, but it was during that time when you were speaking, I was like, I didn't know she had an in-home daycare. And
I really was, as soon as Daryl announced this event, I was so keen. I don't know that I was the first one to ask to participate. I know that he didn't even have the link up on his website when I emailed him and said I really would like to participate in this, because I think what we do at Action Zone and when we're networking with other organizations and collaborating, we get an opportunity to share what we do and kind of how we feel about what we do and why we're doing it. But I really wanted to hear the stories, first of all. But I thought that I've always felt like we all have something really important to share, and we don't often get platforms to share things that are really meaningful. And I don't mean to say it that way because we share meaningful stuff all the time. It's not like we're just talking about crap all the time. But I was really, I agonized over, I knew exactly what I wanted to say. I agonized over how to say it. And I felt like, even though, the old Toastmasters rule, if you forget something, just keep on moving, because they don't know that what you were planning to say. So I did forget a couple things, but I thought that was interesting that I think I could even hear you gasp when I said about that, when I mentioned the in-home daycare. At my ripe old age, I think, trying to remember back all the different things I've done, and a couple of those were things I've never talked about before. But and even I was talking to my son Alex about it. I said, "Do you remember when I did that?" He said, "No recollection of that at all." He was pretty young, but I just felt like it was a good point, a good time to share that there's a reason that we're entrepreneurs, and it has so much less to do with making money. It's this ability to solve people's problems, and just working through, and I always felt that way, but just working through preparing that presentation really focused, really shined a magnifying glass on the fact that everything I've done has been just to help people. And
well, oh, go ahead.
no, it's okay.
Well, I wanted just so for those that missed Entrepreneur Speaks.
And you missed a
Sorry
good
for
one. It
you.
was great. All
Yeah,
four of us were great.
yeah, it was amazing. It wasn't that Rosie had an in-home daycare. It was the fact that she started this daycare, as she said, to solve people's problems, specifically for law enforcement, nurses, and what that you mentioned a
UPS
third,
drivers
yeah, that
and
the
anybody that
daycare
worked third shift. Yeah.
third shift that didn't have daycare for third shift. And the most amazing part of that story, when you said, I would go to the daycare, pick up my kids, and bring home 4 to 6 other kids of parents who were still working.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was, you amaze me every day, Battle, every day.
Yeah,
So,
it was a fun time. It was, it's chaotic to have that many kids, but at night, they went to bed, so it wasn't too bad. It was just
yeah.
feed them, bathe them, get them in bed. Perfect.
Well, I think that one of the reasons why I love this concept that Daryl has come up with is because the entrepreneur journey it's so hard, and there's so many bumps, and there's so many, scrapes and bruises, and lessons that are learned, and business growth, personal growth from those challenges.
Hmm.
So if you are out there and you would love to tell your story, you can reach out to me or Rosie or Daryl. We can drop the information in the chats whenever we get done, and sign up to tell your story next, which will
And
be
you should. It is
July
such
16th.
a fabulous experience to
Mhm.
hear the stories, but then to share what you feel and how you believe, and it will help other people. It definitely
Mhm.
will help other people. They see that first of all, we're not alone because we're all suffering in this rat race of starting business, growing business, sell the business, start a business. Or and even failure. We need to talk about Katie Antares this week too.
Oh yeah.
To hear these stories, there's some comfort in knowing that we're not the only ones suffering through this, and we really know that. But when you're in the heat of the challenge, it's like, oh my God, I'm never going to solve this problem, and nobody's ever experienced before. I don't know who to talk to, and it's a great medium for that. It's a wonderful platform for that.
Yeah. But we are well, we're excited about it, and I'm excited to be the official MC of the the whole event.
As well, you should be, and you did
Uh,
it wonderfully.
oh, I need to brush up on my skills.
I know a group that you might want to participate in.
Toastmasters.
Yeah. I'm not suggesting you need it. I'm just suggesting if you're looking to get better, that's the place to do it. And the ECC
Yeah.
has one every other Wednesday at 10:30. So it's
Oh,
made
at the
for and
ECC.
by entrepreneurs. Yeah, but
Mhm.
it's open to everybody. It's a club that's open to everyone, and it's a really great club. Cigar City.
Yeah, that one specifically. Well, we were me, you, and Russ. More specifically, you and Russ were at the onset of that particular group, and with the intentions of it to be focused on entrepreneurs and helping them tell, their stories, and their pitches and their sales, and all that stuff. So yeah, I know I need to do it, but
And
I'm
it's
out
been
of
in
town
that
almost
group.
every Wednesday.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's every other Wednesday. It's right after 1 million cups. So you go to
Yeah.
the ECC to see 1 million cups, because if you haven't seen 1 million cups, oh my gosh, you'll become addicted. It's such a fascinating organization to hear how other entrepreneurs are building their business and getting help from the community so that they can
Hmm.
overcome some of the challenges that they're facing. So yeah, Cigar City Toastmasters at the ECC on Wednesdays. And since we're talking about the ECC and kind of getting through the week here, Thursday night, right? Thursday night is the
Yep.
16th.
Thursday.
Thursday night, the ECC is putting on their Fail Forward, and we are so grateful that Katie Antares, who is an alumni of Action Zone, is going to give her story. And I'm telling you, if you don't hear any others, this one is going to be really fascinating. We know where she started and what she planned to do, and where she's at now. And it's just this evolution is so awesome to see. And she is so dedicated to serving others and making others physically feel better. But she's got such a great business head on her.
Hmm.
She is so inquisitive, and she just keeps not chasing, she keeps investigating different avenues for her business, and she's landed on one that I think is going to be very successful for her. And
Yeah, I'm
she's
really
delightful to
excited.
talk to anyway.
Yeah, she's amazing, and I'm excited that I get to moderate so everybody can hear her story on Thursday. Um, but just a small piece of Katie and her desire to serve and help others. So she was in a car accident. Was it a car accident? Yeah. And well, anyway, she became a physical therapist to be a physical therapist at the VA to serve other
Yep.
service members, veterans. So that's just, again, another person who just wants to serve and give and take care of people. I love it.
it's it's so interesting how ideas the how the entrepreneurial fairy drops these ideas on you, and that you could, like my story with, dozens of different endeavors, and then you finally land on one that's the right one. It's the right one. You know it's the right one as soon as you see it. And that
Yeah.
was her experience, that, regardless of what else she had done, having that accident and being the patient really formed for her the passion to be the caregiver, to provide the best care and help people get better. It's just so
Mhm.
crazy how, even though your whole life in different endeavors, even as an employee, you can work for the same company for 30 years and never really be fulfilled. When you find that one thing, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
everything is easier when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Even the sucker punches.
Yeah. Yeah, and those don't stop coming just because you're on the right path. In fact, sometimes
Yeah.
I think they come even more frequently just to test to see if you are. But you are, so you just keep plugging along. And that's Katie's story, is that she just kept plugging along. She'd
Yeah.
take a little detour and then figure out that wasn't going to be the right path, and then adjust it again. And I was really glad to have her in the program. I think so many of the people that come through Action Zone we see this epiphany happen, right? You see it
Mhm.
in class where all of a sudden they go, "Oh my gosh, that's what I'm talking about." But then to see them continue on and make something out of that moment is just so rewarding. I just love watching all of their stories.
I
I
know.
was talking to somebody on email or LinkedIn, I'm not sure which platform, but they were asking for somebody that had been through the Action Zone program that they were in the cohort with, and asked, first of all, if I remembered them, and second of all, if I remembered the people he was trying to connect with. And I wrote him back and I said, we've had almost 200 people come through Action Zone, and I remember every single one of them. And I emailed them, periodically or regularly or
Uh,
whatever it is, because that's what we do. And
right,
he's
right.
just amazed. He in fact, he said that's just amazing. But I always say, till you go to the sheriff's office and get that restraining order, we're with you for life.
Yeah, we're gonna be with you for life. That's awesome. Um, Veterans Florida Expo is coming up.
Yep. So now we're at the end of the week. That starts on Friday and it goes through Saturday. And I'll drop the link in the chat again, as we've been doing for the last couple of weeks. But if you do nothing else in the veteran community, this Veterans Florida Expo has something for everybody. They've got the employment services at Career Source. They've got the training grant for employers who hire veterans. So if you have a business and you want to hire somebody and they may need a little bit of extra training in welding or culinary or computer or whatever, then you can apply for that grant. They've got the agricultural program, which is everything from starting a farm to ag tech. And then the entrepreneurship piece, of course, and then SkillBridge, which is the opportunity for soon to be transitioned service people to come to start an internship in an industry they're interested in when they get out of the service, and then they get this time to intern with a company in that realm. So there's something for everybody there. And if there isn't something for you there, then you need to be there to find out what you can do to help all those other people. Because if none of that appeals to you or applies to you or interests you, I'm sure have a skill or a resource or time to give to others, and it's a great way to connect.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I unfortunately, it seems like every year they schedule it when I'm out of town. So this year again, I'm out of town again. But I'm so excited about the pitch competitions.
Yep, on
Because,
Saturday is Battle of the Pitches, and
yeah.
go ahead.
Well, yeah, I'm just so excited for Megan. She's going to kill it.
Yep, Megan Ross was in our cohort, two
So,
cohorts ago,
yeah,
the
South Florida
beginning of the
cohort.
year, at the beginning of 2022, and she has an already successful. Um, it's not a health spa, it's not a beauty spa. She's got quite a great mix of what she is certified and expert in, as well as others she's brought in, contractors and employees that she's brought in to provide services to make people beautiful, and care for their skin. And so I was really grateful. I was really glad that she was willing to pitch for Battle of the Pitches.
Yeah,
I
and that
think it's
she
going to be
got
awesome.
selected because they had to submit a video pitch and then had to get selected. So she made the cut and she's going to be on center stage.
Yep.
And are the judges public knowledge? Like, have they announced the judges?
I don't know if they have. I was on the website this morning, and I don't know if they talked about the judges. I will look. I know that Maxine Reyes is the MC.
And yeah,
It
I
shouldn't.
saw that. I heard that one of the judges, I heard from one of the judges, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say it
Well, let me look.
because it's an Action Zone alumni.
No, the judges are not announced, and you better call me right after we get off of here and tell me. 'Cause that was news to me. Although I do know that the some of the competitors are people that we know. Aside from Megan,
Yeah,
there are some competitors that we know very well. A couple that have been through our program. So it's great to what's fascinating is some of the ideas, right? Some of the
yeah,
ideas that they come out with. And I cannot remember the last live Battle of the Pitches, which I think was in 2019 before the
yeah.
pandemic.
Uh,
Um,
oh wait, was it
no, that one was that one turned
2018?
virtual.
Yeah, that was 2018 because
And that was Carlos and Natasha that pitched.
yeah, because Veteran Florida hired me to put it
Oh,
on.
I remember. I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah, Carlos and Natasha
Mhm.
pitched at that one, and I can remember, although I both of them have broken out and become hugely successful, but I remember listening to some of the other pitches and thinking, how do people come up with those ideas? That was just fascinating to me. That
Yeah.
just it's always a learning thing and interesting is all get out to hear the other business pitches. And it looks like they have quite a slate. So they all of these pitches have been, like you'd said, they submitted a video and they had to make the cut. They were judged on their video submission, but they're all pitching live as well. So we don't get to see the pitch that they submitted for their application, but to see some of them, Brian Andrews with his new nautical company is going to be there. Chad Walker, we know Chad as well. Um, Michael Freed, who was in a cohort with us quite some time ago, is going to be in there, and he has a really interesting social app that
Mm.
he's just been plugging away at. So there's a lot of really cool people. You're gonna see some pretty interesting. If you just look at the logos of the businesses on the website, it gets some pretty interesting businesses to learn about. So that's on Saturday. So if you can't come on Friday, I think it starts at like 5 o'clock on Friday. I think it's about 5 o'clock on Friday with some of the trade show vendor booths and information about all the programs in Veterans Florida. And then Saturday is a full day with that culminates in the Battle of the Pitches.
Awesome. Um, so are there other Action Zone alumni pitching?
Michael Freed, Brian
Mhm.
Andrews was a VFEP, but he wasn't part of Action Zone.
Mm.
He came through before we formed Action Zone. We have, I don't know, why does Nikki Bateman sound so familiar to me? So
I'm not
those are the
thinking.
only three that we know.
Oh, okay. Nikki Bateman. I'm gonna Nikki.
Yes.
Hmm. I don't know.
So there's one guy doing an urban farm, which has been my curiosity piece recently, is how to start an urban farm with everything that's going on. I want to be a little more self-sufficient.
Yeah.
But then there's also another grower, Shuttle Sprouts, going and growing. I'm wondering what that's all about. A brewery is there. Um, there's a coaching business. There's a welding, fabrication, and metal art place. Now, we've had a welder in our program in the past, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
really curious to see what he has to, his name is Grant, see what he has to say, because I would love to connect him with the welder that we had in the
Yeah.
program, see how he's doing and see how they can connect with each other. Um,
Yeah. And
it's
he was
just
uber
always so, these
talented.
pitch competitions are awesome.
I know. I even called Jeremy Cinemaki. I was like, that Father's Day weekend. Can
Yeah, yeah, that is a tough
we move
time.
it? So, yeah, and I'm out of town. But I know that Action Zone will be well represented there. Rosie Kashima, Dr. Russ Barnes,
Yeah, Russ is on a panel.
yeah,
I don't know if it's on
April, I
Friday or
believe
Saturday.
April's going to be there. Oh, and Deborah Hook, who is in our current cohort, is also on a panel there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so very exciting. All right. Oh, do we want to close with sharing Daryl's entrepreneur's creed?
I think that's a perfect way to close this Monday. And for those of you that don't know Daryl, you really need to know Daryl. You need to read his Tampa Pioneer magazine. But Entrepreneur Speaks, he has um, penned a an entrepreneur's creed, and we all recited it when we're there. And we'll close with that. And we'll see you
Yeah.
next week. We'll hopefully see you on Friday or Saturday at Veterans Florida, on Thursday at Fail Forward at the ECC.
Yes. I
And
will
this
see everybody first on Thursday at the ECC, and then you guys get to see Rosie Friday at the Veteran Florida Expo.
sounds like a great week.
I know. You get to see both of us. Oh, you know what? I'm going to today before I read this. Um, Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses is having a legislature roundtable, which I will be there. It starts at 11:30. It's at the Tampa Bay Way. They did charge, but it was nominal. It was only $22 to attend. So um, hopefully some of our audience members will be there as well. See
Yeah,
what they're
that's a
doing to
good
help support,
opportunity.
yeah, veteran and military spouse-owned businesses. Okay, so very military-esque of Daryl to create the Entrepreneur's Creed, which is military. We are all about creeds. And it's I'm an innovator. I see things different. I'm committed to the change in my world. There are many like me, but I am uniquely different. I chose to take risks, or I choose to take risks that others do not see. I'm not afraid to lose it all because I see the big picture. I know that if I don't do it, it will not be done. Therefore, I create, I redesign, I develop. I will not take no for an answer because I am an entrepreneur.
That's so great.
Yeah. He was
That's
like,
so
oh, I
great.
just threw that together. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, he commutes back and forth from Orlando for
I know.
right now.
Yeah, he
He's
has a
still
lot
on
of time to
order.
think.
A lot of time to think. So, all right,
Have a
Battle
great week.
and
Hope to see
Action
you all.
Zone World. We'll see y'all later.
Bye. Have a good week, my friend.
Bye.